Into Monster School. My name is Monster, and this is.
Mama talks.
And today we are talking all things gore. And right now we are discussing House of a Thousand Corpses.
My favorite.
Yes, also mine. And it's kind of like it's a weird movie because it's not accepted by everyone. It's kind of like if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't
You
like
hate
it.
it.
Right. By no means if you're going into the horror genre, I do not recommend it to be your first horror film because it'll definitely
I do.
Really? Because I would say I think it would be they'll be like, oh, they'll be so caught off guard. I thought you'd have to warm up to it a bit to see
Now
the
fucking
things.
dive in.
All right,
Dive right in.
dive right in. Yeah, just go right in then.
Listen, the thing about House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, all of them, and they have that stacked style.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what you watch before. You're either gonna love it or you hate it. You're gonna love the music. You're gonna love the vibe of it, the set, or you're gonna think it's old and cheesy. Like it really just depends on what you're into.
Right.
Overall. Because, like, honestly, I hate clowns. You hate clowns. We both hate clowns,
Just
but
when you
we
said
love
clowns
us some
there, I
Patton
was like, can you
Spaulding,
stop?
goddammit.
Yeah, he's cool.
Like,
he's different.
You can't help but love the guy. So it's like it's a masterpiece in that sense because what he does, he creates this fucking horrible family that does grotesque, disgusting things. But in the end, you can't help but like kind of root for them
because they're
like,
all individualistic. They're their own character.
They're so OG, you can't help it, and they love each other. They work as a family. So even though they're all fucked up and doing fucked up shit, at least they have some kind of moral ground in a sense.
In their own mind.
In their own fucked up way.
Do you? Well, before I ask that question. What I found is a majority of people that like this movie are actually people that that aren't movie goers necessarily. They're more of people that enjoy like the creation of movies. Like they understand that how movies operate, so they appreciate it more. Because like that's why I appreciate it because it's so what's the word, bare bones, like cheap budget, like oh, look at what was created for his first film on this budget. Every shot makes sense. Like I look at it very analytically. And then I'm like, and if you look at it, it's kind of like this twisted Alice in Wonderland spiral down a rabbit hole-esque, like so much so that they're wearing rabbit suits at the end and they go down a rabbit hole.
And I like the fact that there's like right off the bat the classic do's and don'ts of horror, right?
Right.
You don't do drugs, you don't have sex, you don't pick up hitchhikers.
You don't fucking.
And right off the bat, they're like, "Well, it's raining, let's pick her up." Get in, and you just signed your fate. Like, so it's cool because he still kept that. He's got a way of keeping that classic with just that extra splatter of what the fuck.
my only flaw with the film though is, but it works. Like it's not really a flaw per se. It's more of like a
creative difference.
Yeah, he does such a good job at defining each of the twisted. What's the family called? What's their like? Do they have like a last name, or they're the blank family? Right? Like, are they known for like as the well, the family. I don't know.
The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, the Devil's Rejects. They're so individual. They're cartoon characters almost, where it's like if I say Tiny, you know exactly. Right. The Marilyn Monroe one, the political one. Like they all have their thing. I wanted that for the victims too, because the thing is, whenever I revisit this film, I always forget about like, oh yeah, that guy's in this. Like
Dwight's in it.
Right, Dwight's the only one I ever remember because it's Dwight. But it's like I would have liked to see like just that
Fish Boy.
Fish Boy. That same level of commitment with characters. Because he didn't really do it, in my opinion, in Devil's Rejects. Because Devil's Rejects, if you remember, he made them so human. Like they weren't like cartoony anymore, where they're just like doing their own thing.
It was getting way more real, way more
right. Like Sherry Moon Zombie wasn't dressing up doing the giggly voice with she was just a regular woman that did sadistic stuff.
That personality trait in her returns in the third one, Three from Hell.
Okay, I gotta watch that.
She's kind of like
I get so
completely
unnerved
off her
about
rocker by that point, and so she's all like.
I'm excited. I'm excited. The one moment in that film, though, and we do have to talk about something gory in it because this is the gore episode. But the mother, no, that was Devil's Rejects. Devil's Rejects, I was thinking of with the mother, just like her in that jail cell. I was like, that's nasty. Like she.
Yeah, she's nar.
But yeah, gore in House of a Thousand Corpses. It's pretty good. It's very.
I love it.
Yeah, it's done well. Like especially the part where Sherry Muzambi, what's her name? Sherry Muzambi's character. Baby. When Baby, she asks the questions of the guy and he gets him wrong, and then she like scalps him. That was it was well done too. Like you felt it where you're like, ooh, like you do the cringe, and then you're into that roller coaster
skin
ride.
flap start, and she's just yanking on the hair. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It's just that.
See, my favorite is like, and this was the part that kind of bummed me out with it. You don't really see too much of Dr. Satan, and I know he's like the living legend and all that, but his creation, his little monster, when he's like all attached, they've got him like pretty much a puppet there, where he's still doing all of his fucked up. That is
Dr.
shit.
Satan, though, right?
That's Dr. Satan.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. It's so well done.
Reminds me of Insidious, the Red Demon.
You only see him for like a minute, and it's like,
I appreciated that though, just solely
I wanted
because
to see a little bit more, and that berserker style like monster that comes chasing after her. I was a little bummed that like he got taken out by a small avalanche of shit. Like he's the undead pretty much. What do you mean? He gets like a little knock and he's down.
Dr. Satan died too, right? He died in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, he didn't come back at Devil's Rejects. What happened to him? Did they ever?
Good question. I guess he's still running the pit.
Yeah, he's still down there, like doing his thing, like thinking everything's fine, and not realizing the cave claimed it.
Like, why haven't I gotten fresh victims? Where did they go?
Yeah, it's cool though. I like the loophole of it all, where it's like people come to this place to see Dr. Satan. The family, especially I forget his name, the guy that's political, that's very has like a very democratic viewpoint, that's always preaching or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just like, fine, you want to see that old fuck? Let's go see him. Like, they don't like him. Like, they're his grandfather, but people
they're sick of hearing about him.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like,
we're here, bitch. Like
exactly. So much so that they're showing off their talents, and you know what? Yeah, I love it. I think it's a solid.
It's great. Film. Yeah, dude, I love it. And that was like definitely, even though there's stuff that happens prior to that, I would say the most gory part is at that very end, the very last few minutes of the movie, because you've got Dr. Satan, everybody's all stitched up and shit, and
when they're in hell,
and he's like got blood coming out of the guy. That's like her boyfriend. I don't know if it was her boyfriend or the other girl's
See,
boyfriend.
that's the thing that I get confused about too, because when I watched that, I was like, honestly, I only know Dwight right now. Like all the girls kind of look alike.
Well, I don't think the actresses are like big actors like Dwight was. You know what I mean? Like, I think the other guy was in some stoner movies maybe, or he just really would suit it. But I'll be honest, I could give two shits about really getting to the background of the girls, because they were very like, oh my god.
They were put in there for a reason, and they did
and
their
it's
job.
Right, like you're kind of like,
you know
I can't
what they
wait
were
till
meant
this
to be
bitch
done.
gets shanked. Like she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Where the guys were cool, and then you got these two like preppy bitches for some reason, like tagging along. I don't even understand why they were there, since they hated being there the whole time. They didn't like any of it. So it's like, why are you even here? To like control what your men do? Like, you don't trust them? Like,
did you fall for the when you first saw it? Did you fall for that trick at the end where Dr. Spaulding saves her? Did you think she like had salvation?
Hell no, dude. I knew. I was like, nah.
I was the sucker. I was like, Dr. Spaulding rocks it. The guy lifts up. I'm like, I'm like, oh, they're working
Remember
together.
when they go in, and it's the first scene where they're like talking, like very first scene, and the dudes come in and they try to rob the place, and they fuck them up, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pan around, there's some really weird creatures along the walls that are humanoid.
I didn't see that. I gotta go back and watch it. That's cool.
Yes, look around first, and then you've got Fish Boy. So it was clear to me that they worked together right off the bat. Like, I was like, okay,
I didn't pick up any of that. I was like, Dr. Spaulding is a lovable clown. I love him.
No, well, I mean, he is. He's just scary as fuck, too.
Right. I always thought, like, he's...
You really saw his dark side in Devil's Rejects. They didn't really touch on it much. In,
you definitely see, like, this bipolar, like, esque where you're like, oh, when he gets, like... It's kind of like, he's offended by the word. Is he offended by the word clown?
He doesn't like people who don't like clowns, so we'd be fucked.
Right, so when he gets that, he turns, like, very, like,
Yes.
where you're like, oh, okay, this guy
Right
is
away.
not 100% good.
When the guys are trying to rob the place, and he's like, I don't like chicken, and I hate clowns, and he's just like,
yes.
boom, and there it is, and dead.
Do you think? Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Two questions before we move on. Do you think the chicken are the victims?
No, I think the victims go to Dr. Satan.
Okay, and the meat doesn't get recycled back to Dr. Sparl. Okay.
No, because again, if you watch Devil's Rejects, you see him buying the chickens off that dude.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
It all ties in.
And lastly, the big question that I always wonder: do you think it's an incestual family?
I don't know, but I wondered the same. I do,
the only
because
thing that made me trigger
they all
that was
share
tiny.
like the same kind of mental illness.
Right. Almost like it's
And,
genetic. And the only pure one is Tiny.
Well, and if you remember during the stand-up show, when they're celebrating Halloween and the grandpa's telling the jokes, he jokes about fucking the granddaughter, dude. Is it a joke?
And Sherry Moon's laughing at it too. She's like, yeah,
right,
like he fucked me.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, honey, no. Like, so I think it's possible.
Is probably my top 3 favorite, which is very hard to say because it's not a strong movie for a couple of reasons. But the Evil Dead remake.
Okay.
So the reason I like this for the gore standpoint, it does exactly what you want it to do if you're a Gore fan.
Oh, yeah.
Like especially at the end where the bloodbath from the skies and she has the chainsaw and it's literally covers the entire screen with red. You got the girl licking the thing, splitting. Like there's so many gore moments.
And I was like,
right? Or the nail gun, the and you're like, oh, get it.
Yeah.
Where the film falls apart, there's a scene at the beginning, and I called it the minute it happened. I was like, this is stupid. They get off, you can literally watch this scene on YouTube. They all get out of their cars. They're all in front of the cabin. Now, the director knows why the people are here to watch this. They want to see the Deadites, the reimagining of them, and he wants to portray Gore. So within the course of 2 minutes, it's unbelievable how bad it is, but he got away with it. They literally do all the character development for this film in this 2 minutes, where the kid walks up to the girl and says, hi, my name's Devin. I'm a doctor from this. And she's like, would you really talk to a cheerleader like that? They're literally give their entire history in those moments so they can focus on the gore aspects. And then they're like, and then the very last line they used to segue into the movie was, oh, she's here because she's addicted to drugs and we have to stay up here and make sure she doesn't like whatever. It was all in 2 minutes and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way they just did that. But sure enough, if you watch the rest of the movie, absolutely no context about the characters, nothing about their origins. It's literally about Gore, which I appreciate for a Gore film. As a film
just,
without,
maybe label it something else. Because, the truth is, no one would have loved it, the OG, if it wasn't for Adam.
That's
he really said it, that character, and the never giving up, and he's funny,
girl was
he's
very
cheesy.
I want to survive, but even at the end, you're like, I'm pretty sure she's still depressed. Like, there wasn't overcoming anything through this whole thing.
Well, if this doesn't send her ass to drugs, I don't know what will.
Exactly. It's like... but no, I watched this film. I love how they do the Deadites in this one. I think it's very cool with the contacts and the way they insinuate Gore, do Gore. I like the voices where it's like, what is it? Like your mother used to sing this nursery rhyme, and then the Deadite uses it against her. It was like, baby, little baby, and you're like, oh, there's some evil going down here.
Yeah.
But like you said, Ash has the upper hand because you root for him. You don't really give a crap about any of these people in this movie, especially the lead. So you're just sitting there waiting for like her hand to get cut off because you know that's going to be the payoff for you for an Evil Dead fan to see that happen. But still, they didn't even explain the logic of putting a chainsaw on a nub and having it like I don't know. She used it as like a placeholder, but it was interesting. But the original Evil Dead though is I don't remember it being that gory. I do okay that you fear where it's like they were trying to scare you. It doesn't hold up now.
Yeah, the first one was pretty nar.
Right,
Wasn't
where it's
like
like
crazy,
there'd be
but it
the
definitely.
giggling deadite would be like, and then there'd be the deadite like this one. They all
Well,
had
I'm
their own
like, doesn't
personas.
it's been a while since I watched it, but doesn't the one chick get like assaulted by a fucking tree? Like that was weird.
Yes, so
Yeah, dude.
the
Like that was
original
like
one, and then the new
uncomfortable.
one, they took it even
Like to a whole
further
new level. I
because they
know.
showed it, and you're like,
Yeah,
that
that was
tree is definitely raping that girl.
yeah.
Like, and you're
Yeah.
just like, that's
That's
odd.
gotta be a thing. Is there a thing out there where people are like, dude, I want to get fucked by nature?
I mean,
Like,
isn't it the ancient rule? If you say it's a thing, theoretically, someone out there made it a thing. Like, it's got to be where it's like one
I get.
with the
I mean, it has to
grass.
be right because it gets
Yeah,
played in movies and shows a lot. Like, it's increased lately too. Like with
right.
a lot of shows and shit. Like, so I don't know. It must be the latest flavor.
So I was okay. So the one I was gonna save this one for last because it's, in my opinion, the goriest one. But I feel it took such inspiration. Peter Jackson took such inspiration from Sam Raimi from Evil Dead to do this one, which is Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. Which one was
You've
that?
had to have seen this. It's hard to say. It has a baby in
Yeah.
it that's like deformed, and there's the mother that grows like super big, and she has big boobs, and she's like a alien
Oh
thing
god,
on a building. You've had to have seen it because when I saw it, I was like, "Mama's gonna yell at me for not seeing this."
that's familiar. Oh, this is old. Okay. Oh, that's familiar. Shit. Okay. I have seen it. I just don't really remember a whole lot because it's been a long time.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't save
There's
it for last then. But no,
that.
it's a film that I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's the goriest film I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen almost every classification. But he does it in a way where it's like it's almost it's a comedy horror. So it's like there's a
Oh.
girl with like a split neck, so she rips up so he can spoon feed her pudding, and then puts her head back on. It's very Evil Dead-esque where it's like playing these little
Oh yeah.
facades or whatever. But I appreciate it. But we'll move on just because again like there's nothing more to add than it's gory.
Yeah.
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 The next one on the list, I'm not sure if you've seen. Have you seen Ichi the Killer?
No,
It's
I have not.
it's.
I didn't hear great things either though, so I wasn't like, oh my god, let me get ready to watch
If you like
that.
gore, torture, it's good, but it's also, I believe, Japanese,
Yes.
which means there's things they touch upon in there and do that's very unnerving.
Definitely some of the most fucked up horror movies I've ever experienced were Japanese.
Right.
They really know how to go there, man. And it's really impressive for like cuz like the ones that I watched that really like stuck with me like forever.
Yeah.
They were done a long time ago. So I don't know how they were able to do some of the things they did
I'm assuming it's their version
unless
because
it
I know they have
really
their
happened.
own version of the MPAA rating, but it's completely different
how
than
did
ours.
they
Like you can't show a woman in a wedding dress doing that. Like it's a weird thing. Like those weird rules.
That's funny. Have you seen Audition?
Yes,
Dude.
that's the same guy that directed Ichi the Killer. That's Yep. Thank you for doing that. I just yep. Why'd you? It's literally like you just tickled me with fear.
I am the
Honey
fear
Dust
tickler.
says Japan's movie rating system is vastly different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of like states that have like their own rules where it's like you can't walk across a playground with a raccoon and like that's
Yeah.
Japan's rules where you're reading you're like this is
That's
weird,
funny.
but they make it priority to show octopuses like wrapping their tentacles around women and stuff. Like it's this interesting dynamic.
Hentai is big.
Yeah,
It's big.
I love the way how you take a drink. You're like hentai is big. All right, next is a very, 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 very fun horror movie, Planet Terror.
Oh, I didn't get to see it yet.
It's okay.
I know. I really want to.
It's the chick with the
right up
machine
my
gun
alley.
leg. It's very woman empowering, even though she looks like she's wearing like very skimpy outfit or whatever.
Oh yeah. they all
Robert
do.
Rodriguez like does her justice like tenfold. It's so
Mhm.
fun. Bruce Willis is in it. Like this film is strong, and there's a cameo by Fergie I think in it, which is quick.
Oh no shit.
But
I didn't know that.
It's Spy Kids for adults with this chick with a machine gun leg that like and she walks with
I
it
like
too, so you hear the like click 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 click
I
and
like
it's like
it.
oh
Death Proof is one of my favorite movies, so I know for a fact this movie is gonna make it to one of my tops.
yeah.
So I guess it's okay because I have something to look forward to still. Because I've seen so many movies, and honestly, I'm sick of being disappointed. So I'm kind of like saving that one as like my glimmer of hope.
You can't look at it as a linear film though. Look at it as a blockbuster film. That's it, because that's all it is. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
it like Sin City?
It's fun. It's not meant to make a point. It's just fun for being fun. Because that's why Richie has like a leg. Stuff. Yeah, and Tarantino released Death Proof and Rodriguez released Planet Terror, and they worked on them together. And when they released them in theaters, it was a double feature, so they were back to back. That's why the cast is almost exactly the same. The chick that plays the lead with the machine gun leg is that, and then this. They share that, so you see the same cast if you watch it back to back.
Oh, that's so dope! I wish I could go back in time and like watch it in theater then.
Yeah, I missed it. It was out in theaters, and I wanted to go, and I couldn't. But they released a special preview somewhere, and I was able to do it. And sure enough, they did. Tarantino did the old school 1970s like intermission in between, like dun 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 dun, and then segued into his thing.
Oh, that's so cool! I love it.
Yeah. If you get the DVD or Blu-ray of them both, I think you can see their full version where it does that, where you watch them back to back.
I'll have to do that. I'll just do that then.
My favorite moment in Death Proof is literally when he's at the what is it? He has
the turn.
The turn where he's like, "Are you going left or right?" And she's like, "Right, I'm going right." And he's like, "Oh, that's sad.
That's a shame."
Yeah, and she's like, "Why?"
You're gonna have to get scared now.
really fast. And you're like, "Oh, why do I love that?"
It's just like ragdolling.
Right.
Well, you know what? Again, I have like very little sympathy. You know, she was being a hateful little shit. You know, starting shit, and I get it. You know, the girls bullied you or whatever when you were younger, but come on.
Well, I felt Kurt Russell's character was like Michael Myers on wheels because he didn't really. He had one demographic.
Mike.
Right, Stuntman Mike. It was like linear. Stuntman Michael Myers, where it's like I'm just
and
women. There's no reason to it. He just
no remorse.
Does it. Right.
Well, but he stalked specific women. Like it's not like he was just like, okay, this is gonna be my victim today. He had pictures of them and shit. Like he came prepared.
Right.
But you don't really know why.
And
it kind of adds to the like
menacing aspect to it.
You know, like, well, why is he after them? Like,
right.
Who knows?
That's cool because he's obsessed with that one girl's like radio station, but you know he's not obsessed. He's just like utilizing it so he can do this and he can be this 100th caller. Because you know, if she's like the 100th caller can get this, I guarantee you, it's like picking it up and it's like caller about saying, yep. And next one.
Hey there, butterfly.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Well, now you're going in the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was he doing? He was mimicking. You listen to that when he's outside, he's doing John Wayne. He's impersonating John Wayne.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, hold on, my computer's lagging.
I love his car though.
There we go. His car is phenomenal. I tried like a little Hot Wheel car that had it, then I'm like, Hot Wheels isn't gonna.
That's funny. They might though, actually. I don't know if it would be Hot Wheels brand, but there's definitely plenty of car, you know. I've got the General Lee, but it's black, matte black, and it's got the red in the flag, and instead of it being the Confederate flag, it's just a bunch of red skulls in the shape of it. So yeah, it's dope. I love the Charger. It's my favorite car.
All right, my camera's going off for a second. I'm gonna plug in something, try to make this
Bye.
cool down. Bye.
Now that he's gone.
You asshole, I'm still here. Piece of shit.
I know what you're here for.
Alright, hopefully this helps it. Did that? Oh, shit.
Otakus need love too. Neon.
So aggravating. There we go.
I was surprised to see that you did not add Jigsaw and the Saw franchise to the Gore list.
Well, we can throw it in because the thing is, originally we were gonna have a torture one. We could just throw it in there because if Hostel's in there.
Oh. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna set my contacts. Thinking, do I have to restart stream? Don't want to.
You having any weather issues? Anything running in the background?
Only things I have is Discord, which I need to chat. going flawless on.
Oh, it's only on Steam? I mean, oh yeah. It looks like you're getting some internet interruptions.
There's no way. Hold on.
Is it giving you any,
Oh my gosh. Hold on.
There it is.
I know what it is. Give me 2 seconds. It is my power.
Not enough power.
Yeah, somebody shut off the power. So it's running on battery. That's why it's lagging.
That'll do.
That'll do, donkey. Alright, so that's plugged in. Alright, I'll be right back. I gotta take off my headphones.
Okay. What's up, Neon? Beasley, don't start your whining. Where'd you go?
Coming back, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. Alright. Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank. Now my cord is tangled. This is a shit show. Alright, turn on camera. Power's in. Hello. Why is everything... Oh, did I hit him? Is this where it was?
I don't even know.
Ah, that looks good. I have such OCD when it comes to, like, framing. So let's turn it off.
I've learned.
La-da-dee.
I look at like
Alright.
everything.
Cool.
I'm just gonna like this for now on. Look like I'm on a ship. I'm not a balanced person.
Alright, that is good. Enough. So, what were we talking about?
We got sidetracked with Death Proof.
We did. So let's move
Yeah.
on to... You know what? Let's do Saw next.
Okay.
So Saw was one of those breakthrough horror films that actually helped me get reinvigorated with horror, because I lost a connection with horror for about 3 years. Like, I had no interest. Like, I didn't want to watch it anymore. I just wasn't interested. Like, I was on the slasher phase, because I love slashers more than anything in my life. Like, I love
good.
Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, like, all of them. And I was done. Like, the 80s were gone. It's like there were no more slashers. There was nothing for me to watch. And I wasn't on that level yet where I wanted to watch, like, Pinnacle Fear or Psychological. I just wanted my slasher boys to come back.
I just wanted to see someone get stabbed, motherfucker.
Right. Exactly. And I got to see that in a way when Jigsaw arrived. And that twist at the end of that movie, which... I guess I could say, when he gets up, it blew my mind. Like, I've never seen a twist like that happen in, like, a film like that, like horror, where you're like, holy crap, this guy's a genius. And I was like, this is my new slasher killer, even though he's doing torture, where I was like, this is phenomenal. The first movie, it wasn't really gore. It was very much a crime movie, if I remember. It wasn't even horror. It was very simplistic. What? I'm wrong?
I don't think so. Isn't it the first one where he pretty much puts like lab mice, slaps them in rooms where they have to do fucked up shit to try to escape?
No.
It was pretty bloody.
No. The only moment in that film that was bloody was, like, the foot. There was a razor wire trap where a guy was trying to get out of a maze.
And then right into shattered glass and shit once he got past that.
Shattered glass?
Yeah, it was all like on the floor.
Oh, right, the guy with the lighter that's, like, looking for clues on the walls and there's glass on the floor.
Which one was the one where shit, the wall? There was, like, saws on the wall. And it was, like, coming in. And they had to, like...
Saw 6?
Was it?
Yeah, well, the first one I know for a fact is not that gory. There's almost no blood in it at all.
I gotta rewatch it.
There's Saw 1, which he's on the floor, he gets up. Saw 2, when there's a house.
Wait, and they're trapped in that room, and it's like encouraged to like saw your own shit off to get the key inside the dead body that's there. I remember
You're
that.
combining, I think, like all the movies at once.
Probably, they're all the fucking same.
Wow, okay, don't get me. Jeez.
Like honestly,
the director's not here. But no, it turns into a gore fest after the first one. That's when it becomes true horror, when they put all these people in the house and the guy has to cut. There's numbers on their back of their necks that activate the safe, and they have to cut off the numbers and like look at the numbers and. I don't know. I like the franchise. The ones that struggle the most are the later ones, in my opinion. Like when they get past like 5, 6, 7. Like I think they just finished. I think the latest one, Spiral's 10. I think that's Saw 10. So,
I didn't even watch it. I just.
Did you know what's rough about it?
You know.
The fact that Chris Rock is the lead. It's so hard because whenever he says something, he sounds like his character from Madagascar, the zebra.
That's
it's like
great.
Jigsaw stroke again. Like it's like we gotta do something about this guy. Polka dot, Afro. We gotta like. It's just like the whole time. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I need to smoke and watch that now with that in mind.
The wife was pregnant. I was like, wow. This is a trap.
Oh no!
It was rough. There's a lot of token characters, like Samuel Jackson plays his dad, and they just got him because he's Nick Fury, and like it's a very by the books like cash grab movie. So you're like, whatever.
I liked Hostel more, I think, and I know like that's probably going to trigger a lot of people because they're like,
triggered me a little, but
I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed the idea, like, because it's the idea that's scary. The gore part doesn't bother me. The idea of like these wealthy people paying to turn you into their personal play puppet where they can do whatever the fuck they want because fuck you, especially in another country where you're not familiar with anything. You know, like it's like, oh, that's an idea. Like, oof.
That's an
I don't
idea.
like that. I don't want to be on the other side of that one.
I liked it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because it gives me that anxiety where it's like the kids going there. Because like I said, I'm of the slasher mindset where it's like there's usually a sin committed by the victim before they're discarded. These people are just on vacation.
The whole reason they end up there is because they're looking for pussy. They're the most beautiful girls are there, big boobs, they fuck you, ha ha ha, and they're like, yes, let's go get some pussy, and then they go.
You're right. I'm thinking of Hostel 2 with the female.
Okay, yeah. No,
that
the first one
is when the first one you're 100% right.
Mind.
Yeah, they have one thing on their mind.
Yeah,
you're 100% right. I do appreciate Saw more because again, like the whole torture porn aspect. I as much as like I'd want to say like I hate it, I think it is kind of cool seeing each trap when you're revisited because it all starts the same. It's like they're in a room, they're like, what is this?
What's happening?
And you're trying to understand like what's this trap gonna do? It's like this over here is gonna activate this, and this is this. And you're like, whoa, get it? Let the game.
Yeah,
begin.
like I'm glad
like,
that's not me.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that aspect. That's why I liked stupid movie. It's something. It's like Saw. It just recently came out.
Stuff like that. Do you like Squid Games?
So I like the idea of Squid Games, but I thought it was good. I liked the ending a lot more. Ironically, I liked it flipped. I liked the story a lot more than the games they were playing. Like I liked the moment with the protagonist talking to the old man, and he's trying to create the understanding of like why he is the way he is and why he does the games, and he's on his deathbed, and he's like, if you save that homeless man out there, I'll do this or vice versa. Like I like that. I thought that was very well written the way they speak to each other because it's basically kind of like the movie Heat with De Niro and Al Pacino, where it's like good and evil talking to each other. And
that's why I like it. A lot of the movies and shows now have nothing to offer as far as storyline. Like it's all shock and awe, CGI, action, boobs, done. And I hate it. It's like, where's the fucking story though? How are you gonna like
that's beautiful.
like capture me?
Right.
So like watching the relationships develop and then seeing like the character development throughout all this horrible shit was so fun. Like, I dug it a lot.
She's yelling at me, guys. In case you know. No, it reminded me of. I don't know if you've seen it, but the God. Have you seen As the God Wills?
How old is that one?
It's Japanese. It's the same idea, but it's just the games. There's almost no storyline, but the games are actually better than the ones in Squid Game.
What is that? Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this.
Is it the head on the teacher's desk?
Yeah.
So it's the game they play at Squid Game where he's like the kid. He's just like, there's, hey, oh, hey, Rack, how's it going? Welcome in. There's a god almost in every classroom, right? And they have to defeat the gods because they infiltrated Earth or something like that.
Okay.
Gonna get multiple scenarios. There's a button on the back of the head, and he turns around and he's like, whoever can hit the button, you can move on to the next classroom. But like, oh, that's easy. So he turns around, his back's to him. He's like, oh, deux, trois, quatre. And the kids are like, oh, we'll just fucking go up. And then he turns around, and anyone that moves, he obliterates. And they turn into like these little blood pebbles on the ground. And he's like, He's like, he goes around. He doesn't really speak. He's just like doing these funny voices.
Okay.
He's like, oh, deux, trois, and they don't know when to go or when he's gonna stop.
Why does he count in French?
Oh yeah, sorry. It's Japanese. I don't know. I don't know what Japanese is.
I guess that would be kind of creepy.
True.
But
But no, so that's why when I watched Squid Games, I saw that movie. I like that movie a whole lot more because it's more like fun. When I went into Squid Games, I went in it for the reason of the games, but I was more impressed by their dialogue and how they
Dude,
that
even
last
my freaking daughter like sings. Because, you know, like, they have those, like, TikTok videos.
Like, whatever that thing is.
Yes! And, like, I'll be sitting there, and I didn't know, like, she had, like, discovered the fucking song on kids' YouTube, thank you. And I just, like, binged the fucking show while she was with her dad and stuff, you know? So I'm like, dude, my mind is like...
It's a clean show, like, don't get me wrong.
I'm passing the room, and I can hear her little tiny voice, like singing it, and I'm like...
And you're stopping in the hallway.
And, like, I look in, and she's like, do you want to play red light, green light? And I was like, what the fuck?
Do you want me to Do you want me to kick you?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
What type of question is that?
Like, get off of YouTube.
Yeah.
And then Roblox.
Stop that.
Roblox did a bunch of versions of the game for the kids
Everywhere's
to play.
doing spin-offs.
And I'm like, oh my god, she has no idea like where it actually derives from, obviously, but kid creeps me out.
It's a fun idea. I wish they would have meant more actually gory with it, where it's kind of like when they came out with Hunger Games and you watch it, and if you've seen Battle Royale, you're like,
yeah.
They cut away from every death in Hunger Games, or it's like she shoots the arrow, they cut to the next person who's
that's because Hunger Games was based off of a teen fiction series, so they kind of had to keep it pretty kid friendly. But Squid Games did not have to go that route. They could have went full.
Right.
Well,
I would have preferred them go gory.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's like, I get the idea, but watching a guy chisel into a cracker, try to get a triangle for 20 minutes of an episode, it's like, it's not the most entertaining thing for me, because I get how this is going to work.
Like, makes
it does,
because
if you're rooting for a character, but I had no character I was rooting for. So I was if you all broke your characters... If they all broke their crackers, I would have been
in the character. Like, if I had to do this,
if you were there, so you were casting yourself.
The stress of, like, you know, like, oh my god, I get it. It's very, like, But the part near the end where they're doing tug of war, you know, and they're ripping the people down, I wanted to see that.
Right,
I wanted that. I wanted to see the, like, just... And there wasn't a whole lot of that. They looked pretty healthy.
Yeah.
For falling from a very high...
I agree.
Whatever.
But like I said, watch As the Gods Will, because I think you'll enjoy that. That's like it's just fun. Like you're watching and you're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one other thing, but no, my favorite part, like I said, of Squid Game is the end. I like the idea of evil talk, because the guy is evil. The old man is like sadistic as fuck. Like his viewpoints just don't add up.
Yes.
But the other guy's like, it's just good seeing those conversations. I always like conversations like that. The next one, did you see Hatchet?
I did.
What's your opinion? Go ahead, just say it. I could tell in your eyes you didn't like it.
I thought it was trash.
You thought it was
Sorry.
trash? You saw Tony Todd in it, right?
The only scene I liked was when he
I got my
just,
first
like,
redemption in chat. It's a monster
Oh.
growl, which I didn't even like. I don't even know how to do a monster growl.
Are you serious? You're providing things you can't even.
That was a good monster growl, right?
It's okay.
What? How could I perfect it?
You sound more like a zombie. I just hear zombie.
I gotta come up with one that works.
You do.
It's a zombie too, right?
It sounded like a baby cheetah.
Roar.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
Nice, got it. Roar. He said louder. Nice, nailed it. Don't redeem that again, please. But no, did you notice Tony Todd was in it?
No.
He was the guy at the beginning that met them all in the room, the voodoo guy.
The voodoo guy. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I thought it was a fun movie. It was because it reminded me when I saw this movie. No, keep in mind, like this is the first slasher that came about since I saw the ones from the '80s, and it's a strong storyline. It's Victor Crowley. He accidentally
I'm sorry.
put.
Shall we go over Scream again?
I told you I didn't appreciate Scream, but I appreciate it now. So get your finger out of my. What the hell's that? Look up. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, gory. Like it's meant to be cheesy. That's the thing, and I appreciated it for that.
Like
his storyline's cool. Oh, and how he yells for his father, like that's his moan, where he's like, "Daddy," and you hear it, and you're like, "Whoa!"
It's okay. So the movie is like if you go camping and you're all around the fire, and someone's like, "Who's got a scary, story?" That's what someone came up with. The Asian guy leading the tour with his fake ass Louisiana, oh my god, I couldn't.
Not talking
like the whole
about
time I was
that.
like, ugh. With the fake accent, trying to act all cultured and shit just to make a buck. It just.
I'm talking about Victor Crowley though. Him as a standalone. I'm
talking about the movie though. Like. No.
It's not the strongest movie, but I appreciate it because it was a guy. It was a guy created. Honey says Scream was good for its time. I agree. It's a fan of horror creating his own slasher film, and I appreciate that.
Oh well, yeah.
Like he made it. Oh my god. yeah. It fucking sucks. Yeah, great shit.
Listen,
all right, next one is
there's
actually
House of 1,000 Corpses, cheesy, acceptable, and then there was Hatchet. It's just not my thing.
Don't make a comparison. Just say like you know. There's good, and then there's not so good. I'm like, thanks for saying. You could have just said bad.
I mean,
didn't have to dress it up.
Of course I have to.
Next one is actually, if I'm gonna put this in your favor, a fan of horror that was his first time directing that did it correctly, even though I disagree with your statement about Hatchet. Eli Roth in Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever. I saw that one. I have to remember which one.
It's the one where they become their skin becomes very what's the word? Highly susceptible, where it's very fragile and they're consistently in pain. It has a scene in the tub where she's shaving her leg and it rips up the skin.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. There's the face.
Yep.
This one was fun because Eli Roth is one of those guys that, like, including myself, where it's like you aspire to be him if you want to be a filmmaker. Where it's like he's just a fan of film. Like he just loves film. He watches movies, and then the blue, he's like, I'm gonna write my own script and I'm gonna keep it basic as hell. People go into the woods.
It worked, though.
Yeah, and it's like the villain is this like infectious disease that comes through, and they're contaminated with it. That's it. We'll keep it simple, and I'll just write the voices, dialogue, and it became a cult following. And literally, his techniques are phenomenal in it too. In terms of like the bathroom scene when she's in the tub and she's about to shave her leg, it's a practical shot, and you know how it's done, but it's still unsettling because she puts shaving cream on her leg.
It's perfect.
Right, she knows there's shaving cream on her leg, but you know when he cuts away and he cuts back to that leg, now the wound is underneath the shaving cream, so when she cuts up, it's going to showcase the thing, and it just fall for it, and you're like, that's ingenious. Like that's the way you make a film. It's like practical
That is
shots.
less is more. I notice a lot of these horror films, they try to like go with like and add so much shit, and it's like it's overstimulating to the point where it cannot be scary. You've got so much going on, it's not scary. You need to slow it down. Take notes from the fucking Exorcist. You know, like come on, like those.
The Exorcist
that's why
is one of those films too.
Insidious fucking killed it. That's why Insidious killed it. It was perfect. It was like the creepy crawly of fear and horror, and it's like yes.
Yes. Sometimes it's not about like it, like you feeling it on the surface of your skin. It's that like spine, like you gotta go with that fear.
Yeah, like
you gotta
that, like,
make it grow.
now. Like, how many people can't listen to that fucking song anymore? And unfortunately, I can't remember the name of it. But
from
it's
Insidious.
Yeah. No. It's so creepy now. It's like he totally ruined that song for so many. But it's perfect.
Where'd all my red go? Hold on a second. Why is my camera doing that? My background
You're
wasn't
having
red
problems
anymore.
today, man.
I know. It's a little bit of red. Whatever, it's fine. The next one, I don't know why I put this on there, but I think there was a heavy amount of gore. That's why. But Piranha 3D. Did you see that?
A long time ago.
Christopher
when it first
Lloyd,
came out.
I think is the.
I was not gonna watch it again, dude. I was like, that shit was so stupid.
Fine. Yeah, no, because I was looking at the list. I'm like, why the fuck did I put that there? Because I know Christopher Lloyd's in it, and it's very softcore porn. Like, I'm pretty sure the director is like a porn director.
It's again, cheap boob shots, poor storyline,
a lot of boob shots to the point where you're like
all it was tits and ass the whole time, and then fish.
A couple fish, yeah. So we can skip that one. The next one. I had trouble putting this one back on the list because I do not recommend this movie at all for any purposes, but it is gory, so I put it on there. But it's Martyrs again, which is a very... Martyrs is a French film. It's the one I brought up to you, I believe, on stream before, where it's a French film, and it has, like, woman abuse in it, and torture, and just, like, things you don't want to see. And because the French don't really have their MPA rating at all, they don't cut away from anything. So, like, in the first...
That's a crime thriller.
No. Well, yeah, but it's very... I told you the synopsis. The idea is, like, they're torturing women to try to see the afterlife. Because once you reach a certain threshold, you can see...
I did watch that.
Right, if your pain reaches a certain level, you can see what happens, and they're trying to extract that. But, like, the first 5 minutes, a 4-year-old gets blown away with a shotgun.
If you could take a lot of pain, then you were seeing the afterlife before you actually died. So whatever you would say, they would be describing to you heaven, I guess, or whatever.
Right, well, interesting concept, because at the end, it has the payoff where the girl does see it. This girl can, like... see the afterlife.
Something.
She whispers it to the woman, the leader, but apparently the leader can't handle it, so she blows her head off. So the viewer doesn't even know.
It's the guy that's supposed to kill her or whatever. He's got her, like the priest or whatever the fuck.
Did you see the French one or the remake?
It may have been the remake, but he overhears her whispering to her friend, and he says, "I heard what she said," and blows
Yeah, because apparently the message is like you're not supposed to know. But it's just it's a rough watch. I'll say that. Because the one I saw, the French one, you see somebody get skinned alive. You see a little girl get blown away with a shotgun at the very beginning. And then you see a woman getting literally beat the shit out of by a guy for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And like I didn't get the point of the movie. Like, it's split, though. Like, it's a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, not to bring them up again. But it's like fans can't decide whether this is a good film or it's a bad film. Because I get why it would be a good film, because I like the idea. I like the concept of trying to know what's beyond. You know what I'm saying? Like, know what's beyond the realms of death. But at the same time, I'm like, why do you have to utilize those certain elements
They
for that
probably took
concept?
notes from Hitler. Think about it. He was collecting people of peculiar gifts and abusing them to try to increase the gift. Like, if you torture somebody, suddenly they're going to be like, oh, look, I can make shit float. No, bitch. But, you know, and they were like, how can I utilize this information for my benefit? You know, and it's an unstable mind that seems to always think that harming and pain and fear is going to increase power, which That's not the case. You're just gonna you get a result faster, sure, but it's not a stronger result in my opinion.
Hello, Danny. Welcome in,
Danny
buddy.
boy.
The pipes are
Sorry.
calling.
He hates that so much. I'm sorry, Danny.
What the fuck?
I couldn't resist.
What do we got next? Oh, so I just saw this movie. It's so stupid. I'm pretty sure if you haven't seen it, whatever, I'll talk about it. Have you seen Wizard of Gore? From like the 1970s?
Yeah, I know that.
Or it's like
You put some weird lists, bud. Like
yeah, I couldn't think of anything.
I think what we should do for now on.
You give your 2 cents and write me your movies, because that's what I was I wait for that every time where you're like, can you add this in? But you're like,
say that?
Because I said it like the second episode in. I'm saying if you have any things you want to add, just message me back.
I know, but you said add, so that means like, because you send like a list of like 15 to 17, and that's hard to keep up with. So I don't want to add more on top of it, because then we'd just be here for hours.
No, the idea is if you see stuff on the list that you want to take out, I'll take that out and add yours in. Or I'll add on to and take the least popular one so we can do it that way.
Yeah, because I was like, because especially with the Gore stuff, I was like, he didn't add Jigsaw. That's weird. You know, like stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe I should speak up.
A few weeks ago, too. Well, you know, I got shit going on, and I don't want to like.
Oh my gosh! Don't do that. I just saw your face.
It's true.
You could.
I don't.
3 letters to type, Mama. SAW. Enter.
I am an aggressive person. I know. So I don't want to seem like super pushy, or like I don't want to come off as like, you know, shitty if I'm like, hey man, you know, let's do this. Like, I feel like people generally take me the wrong way, like, so I just shut up.
Just no.
What I do.
It's just as much your show as it is mine. It's like, just tell me what you want. I don't want to come off pushy, but can we add a movie to it? And I'll be like, fuck you. It's like, no. What scenario do you have in your head where I'm this, like, dickhead?
Well, most people are, so I just kind of expect it now.
But no, Wizard of Gore I was excited for, because it's been a long time since I've seen, like, a movie from the 1970s that's an exploitation film. Like, I haven't seen an exploitation film in God knows how long. I used to be, like, hooked on them, too. Like, just the ones that are all cookie cutter and kind of cheesy. This film is so,
You ain't got no life.
This film is so... It's a cool concept. The idea is, if I can piece together this correctly, a magician invites women onto stage that he hypnotizes in the crowd. He tortures them in a particular fashion, but then he's able to make the illusion go away for the crowd so they appear normal. But then later on that night, they die in the same manner they were tortured.
Yeesh.
They don't explain how.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Say it one more time. Let me just... I can go back with mine.
Like how he does his trick? Is that what you're saying? Or like how they died?
They don't explain how the correlation. They just say like, oh, he's a wizard.
No. You do find out. That was the whole movie, was figuring out how he did it. He uses pufferfish poison on his hands. If you notice, they always talk about his hands are like slimy. When he shakes your hand, the pufferfish poison is a hallucinogen, and they found out that...
Is this the one from the 1970s or the one with Crispin Glover from the... Because I didn't see the one with Crispin Glover.
Oh, you should watch that one.
Okay, that's probably the one with the pufferfish.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no fucking pufferfish in
it was good. I liked it a lot. It had that very,
I'll watch it. I saw the old
detective
one.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very fun. I liked it a lot. And the colors and everything, again, I had a lot of fun with.
Okay, because I saw the trailer.
It's on TV for free.
Okay, I'll watch it. It was there. I was going to binge that one too, but I fell asleep. But the lead actor in the original one from the 1970s, his acting is so bad that I recommend everybody watch this movie, because it is awful. Because you know exactly what the director's doing. He's feeding him the line before each take. So when he says action, he gives his all to this line. Even if the line is like, say if like his wife's dying and he's like, the director's like, say, oh, poor Cynthia, I'm sorry you're dead. He's like, all right, you're going to say that, right? He's like, yeah, I'll say it. We only get one take because, again, this is 8mm film, and I got it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Cynthia! Like, he gives it, like, tenfold, and you're watching, you're like, oh, my gosh, this is bad.
No.
And then it cuts back to, like, another actor that's professional, and it's, like, a completely professional take, and it cuts back to him, and he's like, what? Like, it's so good. Oh, my gosh.
That's great. I love when they're so horrible, they're wonderful.
We talked about Wizard of Gore. Hostel we talked about. Did you see the third Hostel, the one in Vegas? That one was really good. I actually like that one.
I believe I did actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one was fun.
Because they were like bidding on it, right?
Yes,
Like,
that's what the aspect I liked that they added to it.
Yeah,
cool,
dude.
bidding.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Okay, this is a cool question. Have you ever seen a horror movie where you physically gagged watching a scene? Oh, I remember mine.
There was only one time I ever.
You're like, whoa. Everyone's like, what the fuck?
No, see, I don't have a physical reaction other than leave. Like,
yeah.
If
well, it felt like you throw up, like you felt
like,
nauseous.
No, I remembered the scene that caused it, where I was like, oh, that's the one that I was like, nope, and like had to leave. It was I believe it was called The ABCs of Death.
Oh my gosh, I refuse to watch that.
Yeah, I didn't know. For the record, what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And I hung in there for a minute, but then there was this one, and I'm not gonna say what happened because it's just that bad. But there was we got to one of them.
Let me make sure I'm thinking of the one you're thinking of. Is this the one from the early like 80s, 70s that was controversial? Because there might be.
It was on like Netflix. I don't know how new it was or how old it was. It was.
Okay, keep going.
It was like all over the world scenes, so like I don't really know. But I'll just say it involved a chair and people, and it went too far. It went too far, and I walked out. I was like, I cannot expose myself to this anymore. This is fucked up, and I just like left. I got a line. I know I can go pretty far with things, but there is a line we do not cross, and I don't find
like that
at all entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to fucking remember what it is.
I think it was called the ABCs of Death.
It's ABCs of Death, but there was one from the 1970s. Gore.
I remember there's one where like they're Chinese or Asian descent, and some fuck up shit's happening, and like there's that.
Because the one I remember that came out the same year, I believe, as Cannibal Holocaust. And it's like the one you said.
Because I know a lot of them were popping up on Netflix.
Because ABCs of Death, I remember being released in like 2000 something. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Faces of Death.
Faces of Death.
From 1978, which gets controversial because you can't tell which deaths are real deaths and which are fake deaths. And they came out like 5 of them. So some of them are just like people just pretending to kill people for the film. But some of them you're just like, I'm pretty sure that's real, but the director doesn't confirm it. Like there's a scene where a monkey gets bashed over the head. And you can't really, you're just like, it's interesting, but you're like, why would you watch this?
I don't even know if this is the movie. I don't know if this is the movie. The cover of the movie doesn't make any sense. But I feel like it was because it would like show up a letter and it would have a description, and then it was like short films of each way some fuckery happens. And I was
that sounds like ABCs of Death. That's it, because I remember that movie coming out, and I was like, I'm not watching this.
No, do not recommend. Spare yourself. There's no sense of doing that. Like, seriously, there's no reason for that to be created. Because like I can see the reason why Human Centipede would want to be created, because like it's kind of like this tongue-in-cheek, but when you start fixating that hard on that topic for entertainment, it just becomes a bit repulsive. Especially when you bring in children. Right. Not okay. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I went to go see The Conjuring 2, I'd want to say, and there was a mother with a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old boy, and I was just like, why the hell are they here? Like, why are they here? Why are you doing that? I wanted to like literally talk to her and be like, what's your problem? My daughter would not be down. You're literally just, it's fear. Why do you want to instill that? It's like they're playing Alvin and Chipmunks Part 5 or something. She likes horror, like kid horror, you know, she likes creepy shit, you know. She loves it. Like, it's just some kind of, like, fucked up looking things. That, like, there's this one creature, I don't know. It's, like, tall with, like this, like, tall blue puppet with, like, a red mouth and sharp teeth and shit. It's totally creepy. I forget what she keeps calling him. But, yeah, that's new. Yeah. But I would never bring her to a movie where especially things look like they're really happening, because a child's mind that's that little, they don't understand that this is, like, fake. You know, they can't process any of it. Right. So it's like you're just kind of fucking them up
Rack
because
says
they're gonna be like,
Goosebumps.
"Oh, I love
Is
Goosebumps. Oh, I should get her into Goosebumps. That's a good idea."
That's a good start. I was actually afraid of the cover art of Goosebumps is
I
like pretty
love
much
the
instilled
cover
it.
art.
Yeah.
It's what drawed me to it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Next to Honey's name is a blue emblem. Does that
Yes,
mean
the
she's
Prime album.
subscribed through Prime?
No, it means she has Amazon Prime.
Oh, it just states
It
she
doesn't
has
mean that
Amazon Prime.
the subscription's on your channel. It just means she has Prime. It's a Prime badge.
Well, nonetheless, Honey, do you want a toe or a finger to give Audrey? You get to feed Audrey with every sub, but technically, I like seeing that colorful
Poppy
thing next to you.
Playtime. That's it.
Poppy Playtime is addicting to everybody. That's like the new thing.
She loves it, dude. Children have no business there. Agreed.
Yeah, I always get steamed when parents do that. That was me when I used to be supervisor at Toys R Us. Half the shit they bought there, man. I'd always, whenever we got Ouija boards off the truck, I'd hide them all.
That triggered me. Thank you for doing that. It pisses me off that they sell Ouija boards like they're toys.
Mm-hmm. Do a finger? Alright, look at this finger. We put it
it's so good.
But yeah, it's cool too. What I'm gonna do is it's gonna take a while to save up, but they have one that's like huge, so I'm gonna do this effect where I like hit the camera real fast and it like does this like switcheroo. So he gets bigger.
Oh.
Alright. Maybe.
I was just trying to think like how you could make one yourself instead of having to spend so much.
I don't know. I get creative, but then I get disappointed at the end. I just throw it all out.
Oh. Yeah. I think you should be able to do a paper mache, but the thing is, it probably won't last forever.
We got, not to change the subject because I don't want to create anything right now. We got Exorcist Linda Blair dolls in one season, and I couldn't believe it. It was Toys R Us, and I was just like, wow. Like, it was weird, and they wanted me to put them in the front of the store, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
That is shit. They really need to, well, you know what, they're gone.
Well, they're gone now, like, rightfully so.
They really needed to figure out what age range they were trying to sell to.
Yeah, because I get it.
Because
maybe
that
it was
would
the
do
adults
great
that
at
grew
like
up with
Hot
it.
Topic or GameStop, you know, shit like that, or Spencer's. But I wouldn't expect to find that out at Toys R Us.
Toys R Us is rough. Like, if I brought my kid there and he saw anything horror related in that shop, I'd be upset. Even though I love the idea of horror, like, obviously I love the idea of horror. It's just like time and a place. It's like if you're gonna market yourself with a friendly giraffe, if the friendly giraffe had a knife in its head, like then I'd get your messaging. Like this is a different type of toy store, but it's like you're not marketing it that way. It's like I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. It's something different.
Oh, Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was another goodie.
What is that? Why does that sound so familiar?
Long ago on, was it Nickelodeon? Nick at Night After Dark. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark was like a show they did where they would tell stories.
Ghost show.
Ghost show.
On was it Nickelodeon where there was this little creature and these kids would solve these ghost mysteries? It was the same time period as Are You Afraid of the Dark, like early 90s, late 80s. Oh my gosh, that's going to drive me nuts.
There's a ghost and they have to solve mysteries like Scooby-Doo?
Like Scooby-Doo, but it was like I could have swore it was what was it? Ghost
Teen Nick. My older brother worked at Toys R Us.
TV show kids.
Do you remember one with like a panther?
No.
I remember something with the panther and a girl that had like special powers or something. But I don't remember what it was called. Ghost Rider? Ghost Rider. I don't remember.
Oh wait, Ghost. Ooh, honey, you might be damn right. That just triggered like a thing down my spine, which means you're probably right.
It was Ghost Rider?
It was Ghost Rider. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And there's that fucking guy that gave me a nightmare. Okay.
You know what monster fucked me up? Have you ever seen?
You sound like an actual monster beat the shit out of you the way you said that.
I mean mentally, and it's so funny because he like shown for like a split second, like boom, there it is, and he's gone again. Have you ever seen, I think it was Legion?
Is that the one with Dennis Quaid in an ice cream shop?
They're at a diner.
Yeah, and it's like
Oh
biblical.
my god, I love that movie. Yes.
Yeah.
The fucking ice cream man shows
Yeah,
up, and he's like, he steps out and he's all long and shit. I was like, what the fuck? That was so good.
It was good. But no, my favorite movie that actually it's the only movie that ever made me physically gag, and I almost got sick.
Yeah.
I believe it was actually the one that I said I didn't like I didn't like these movies, but like Saw 5. There's a moment at the end where the idea of it was they all had to work on the traps together. That was the idea. In order to survive, they had to work together. But they didn't do that. They selfishly liked so only 2 people made it to the last trap, but it needed to be all of them because there was a table saws with 6 table saws for each of them. And then they had like this enclosure case over them so they could only fit their hand in. And if they all made it, they'd only have to nick their skin a little bit and give a little bit of blood to this thing that levers out and releases the key to the door so they can all leave. But since there's only 2 of them, they have to give...
Just drag their fucking dead bodies over, stick their arms
They can't.
in.
It's at the beginning. It seals. Every room seals after you go through. I know. Trust me. But because the other people are died, they have to compensate for their blood. So what they do that makes me cringe.
Oh, I
is
remember this now.
Yeah, if they did the side fingers, anything like that, they put their hand in the table saw. Oh, sorry, Audrey. Their table saw is here, right? Their hand is going right in between those fingers, and right when it's right there, I start being like, "Oh my gosh, please don't do it." They literally make it all the way up to here, and then when they pull it out, it flops apart their hand. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, delicious!"
It's
You sound like that fucking thing from Star Wars. What is it? Jabba's Palace? Salacious Crumb. It's like, it's like, yes, delightful. Oh my gosh.
I like fucked up shit.
Yeah, so let's look at the other... For next week, let's look at what other one we could do. Because I'll let you decide the next one. The last one, we're going to do pure horror.
Okay.
There it is. All right, so we just finished Gore. Nice. We have found footage, horror comedy, or universal monsters.
I thought we were going to do a haunted house one.
Do you want to do a haunted house one?
Yeah, I want to do a haunted house one.
Copy, paste, delete. All right, so next week we will do... You want to do Insidious, don't you?
Insidious, House on Haunted Hill, Rose
Amityville
Red,
Horror, yeah.
Amityville. That's what I'm saying. There's so many good ones. Like, let's do that.
Okay, this is just screwing with my consistency just solely because
I'm sorry.
Gail didn't do an intro for the haunted house thing. But it's all good. We'll just use the main title. It's all good. Cool.
Well,
I'm excited.
You have one for, like, mystery thriller, yeah? I mean, that kind of works. It's mystery thriller almost every time whenever a house is involved.
I'll just do the regular intro.
Okay.
You know what one's going to be fun that we could talk about that is like
Rose Red.
What was the animated one? And it ended up being like a wife, his dead wife possessed the house.
An animated one.
It was a kid-friendly movie. But a dark tone. Monster House.
Monster House. Yeah, I have that on DVD, dude. I'm such a freaking kid.
Right. All right.
Beasley, stop. Seriously.
So that is going to do it for this week. I'm going to send everybody to... What's her name? Gamer Hales. Nope, that's... damn it, I got to get better at this. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Amityville is overdone. Danny, you just think that because you live in Amityville.
Oh, she said you live in Amityville.
We do, though.
All right, we will see you guys next week when we discuss everything.
Haunted houses!
Yep, thank you for... That one guy that jumps in front of like the host, and it's just like, thank you for that.
That's me.
All
That's
right,
my
see you guys
job.
later.
Bye.